$10,000 per gram, found only in one location, capable of absorbing any energy, any impact, any force. That's vibranium, Marvel's miracle metal. Now, here's the question nobody in the Marvel universe ever seriously asks what would happen in the real world if this material actually existed? Not in Wakanda, here on Earth in 2026. We ran the numbers, the economics, the geopolitics, the material science, and what we found is that vibranium, the miracle metal, wouldn't save the world. It would be the single most destabilizing discovery in the history of civilization, and we might be closer to finding a real version than anyone thinks.
So, what if Marvel's absolute most famous metal actually existed right here on Earth? Imagine the immense global implications of discovering a literal miracle material just sitting here on our own planet. We aren't just talking about a cool new gadget or a shiny smartphone upgrade. We're talking about a discovery that would instantly redefine science, economics, and human history overnight.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, Vibranium in the MCU, exploring the Marvel lore.
Okay, so just as a quick refresher, what exactly is vibranium? Well, in the comics, it's an elemental metal possessing some seriously extraordinary abilities. Specifically, it can absorb and release kinetic energy. It doesn't just block a punch or a bullet, it literally eats that kinetic energy, absorbs it right into itself, and allows it to be released later. It fundamentally breaks the rules of normal physics as we understand them.
And beyond just being an energy sponge, the MCU establishes some insane baseline stats. We're talking 10 times stronger than steel. It's got these unique magnetic properties, and get this, it is completely rust-proof. I mean, just think about that for a second. A metal 10 times stronger than steel that literally never rusts or degrades? A material like that wouldn't just improve our current tech, it would make our entire modern infrastructure completely obsolete.
Which brings us to Section 2, Real-World Scientific Equivalence, Fiction Meeting Reality. Now here's where it gets wild. Real-world scientists are actually a lot closer to replicating these exact superpowers than you might think. Let's compare 3 incredibly advanced real-world technologies to show how innovators are already developing materials with extreme strength and specialized properties. Over at Columbia University, they've developed artificial muscles using nanoparticles embedded right into a cellulose mixture. Then you've got Kevlar, a brilliant innovation from the 1970s. It's a heat-resistant synthetic fiber acting as a replacement for steel, and we use it heavily in space to literally block orbital space debris. And finally, we have a unique metamaterial developed by Professor Albert Crosby, a polymer designed specifically to absorb and release energy. When explaining how this unique polymer works, Professor Crosby described it as being, quote, like a rubber band and tiny magnets. It's such a simple, perfect visual, right? But it describes a highly complex, energy-absorbing quality that honestly sounds suspiciously like a real-world prototype for vibranium.
All right, moving on to Section 3, the true cost of vibranium, the economics of a miracle. $10,000. According to comic lore, that is the going rate for a single gram of vibranium. 1 single gram. To put that into perspective for you, that absolutely dwarfs the price of gold, platinum, or practically any precious metal we have on Earth today. The financial barrier to entry for this material would be completely astronomical. But wait, scale that up, and the numbers become staggering. $19 trillion. If the fictional nation of Wakanda held a vault containing just 10,000 tons of this metal, which, by the way, is a relatively small amount for global industrial scales, their gross domestic product would sit at a mind-bending $19 trillion purely based on that reserve. It would instantly make whoever holds it a global economic superpower, disrupting the entire financial equilibrium of the planet for sure.
So where is it? Section 4, Hiding in the Deep Ocean, the ultimate hiding spot.
There's a pretty massive irony here. Think about our space exploration. Humanity possesses these gorgeous, highly detailed maps of the surfaces of both Mars and the Moon. But contrast that with Earth's ocean floor. The massive, crushing depths of our very own planet remain largely unexplored and unknown. It's often pointed out that we know more about the surface of Mars than the bottom of our own oceans, so making the deep, uncharted sea the absolute perfect hiding spot for a vibranium meteorite. Let's say we finally explored those oceanic depths and actually found it. The immediate advantages would be staggering. It would trigger an incredible utopian boom.
We would see a massive immediate leap in space technology, allowing ships to withstand unimaginable forces. We'd see unprecedented advancements in robotics. It would spark this ultimate global technological boom that could theoretically solve countless modern engineering problems literally overnight.
But of course, there's a catch. Section 5, tech boom or global war, the human factor.
Because unfortunately, human history paints a stark picture. Look at this timeline. In 1932, the Chaka War broke out. In 1941, Japan attacked the Dutch East Indies. And in 1990, we saw Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. What do these events have in common? They objectively show that over the last 70 years, humans have repeatedly gone to war over vital energy sources and resources. When a nation desperately needs an energy source, conflict almost inevitably follows. We have a distinct historical track record here.
And because of that track record, we can map out a highly probable militarization path. First, powerful armies would immediately move to monopolize the material supply. Second, the development of advanced, virtually indestructible spacecraft and defense equipment by those strong-armed forces. And finally, a terrifying global arms race leading to the creation of unbelievably destructive nuclear and super weapons. And remember, all of this is amplified by a metal that manipulates kinetic energy.
So it all boils down to this. If we actually found a meteorite made of vibranium at the bottom of our ocean today, would it elevate humanity into a new era of technological utopia? Or would it ultimately destroy us? It really forces us to ask if our current geopolitical maturity could handle a comic book miracle, or if our history would simply repeat itself on a much more devastating scale. Definitely something to chew on the next time you see a superhero movie. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.
If this video made you think, hit like, share it, and subscribe to this channel. Because the next mystery is even deeper. Until then, stay curious and keep looking up.